Hi and welcome to another one of our videos where today I'm going to be talking about tempo and timing, especially when it relates to rotational movements. So what do I mean by tempo and timing? Well, a lot of people actually don't use tempo change all that much in their workouts, because there's many ways to progress things. So with load, sets, reps, rest. So here's an example where we've used progression of load. So it's a big 160 kilo deadlift, or even probably more than that, I think. But the one forgotten and often very misunderstood variable is the tempo, and basically this just means the speed at which you complete the movement. So some things are suited to moving slow, sometimes they're suited to moving fast. Most exercises require slow tempo, so and this is very common in bodybuilding type exercises like bicep curls, and the bodybuilders love moving slow because it creates a lot of muscle fiber damage that with the time under tension rule to make muscles grow in size. But size doesn't necessarily mean strength, and it definitely doesn't mean athletic performance and timing. All right, it has absolutely zero to do with being big, because if it was, then you would only see bodybuilders playing golf and tennis, but you never really see either of them in that area. So it sort of tells you something about how it disrupts timing. So when it comes to core strengthening and stability, we're always told to move slowly to create more stability. And while this is true for exercises such as the single leg squat here, because if you tried to do this quick, and you can do this quick, but it's so much more difficult, and you really need to be perfect. You really need to have, you just have to have everything functioning perfectly in the split second, which 99% of people are not able to do that. That's really, we see really gifted things in gymnastics and stuff where they're landing at high speeds on one leg and stuff like that, and acrobatics and all those different things. But so in many cases we need slow, but then there's many cases where we need to be fast, and especially when in order to have the right timing, because if the timing is off, then things go really badly wrong. And examples would be, say, throwing a ball. Like, how can you throw a ball slowly? Well, you can throw it slowly, but it's pretty ordinary throw. For it to be effective and efficient, it has to be very fast. You just cannot be any other way. All right. Tennis example, hitting a forehand. Anyone who plays tennis will tell you you really have to have a good swing. Same with golf. You really have to hit through the ball. You can't. If you get wristy on it and you try to slow your timing, if your timing is lost, it's everything. All right. So it means, and in both of these, see these rotational share a lot of the same things. So the baseball and this one are really just sharing this same timing of the different mechanics, but it's very similar action. That's why if you ever get tennis lessons, they'll ask throw a ball, because it's very similar to serve. All right. A gym exercise would be a sledgehammer, like, and to be honest, like if you're a tradesman or something, you're doing this as well. But you just cannot do this exercise correctly if you do it slowly. You just cannot do it correctly. So you see how all of these rotational things have that timing of explosive and fast. Once you sort of make it slow, you're going to really make things go horribly wrong. All right, so that's where we see the confusion with core strengthening, where there's endless amounts of static holding, planks and V-sits, or not even what we call this sort of rubbish of an exercise, but they do nothing to improve the core and actually how it's designed to move. In many cases, they're actually making it worse as you're completely disrupting the timing of everything. So in those other exercises, you had to go from a state of being completely relaxed to then in the blink of eye having stiffness to being completely relaxed again. So you see how, like, timing, like if I get any of that wrong because I'm just moving at the wrong speed, something comes in and does it which should not have come in, and something is doing nothing which should have been doing something, if that makes sense. So other gym exercises we see, and this is where we see the wood chop exercises in the gyms, where people are thinking it's all about getting abs, and by all means you're definitely using the abs, but these guys have no power to move anything. They just really don't. They're just such small muscles. It's not their function. They're relying on the legs and the arms to do everything. They're just the middleman to try to create stiffness around the spine so you don't bend and flex the spine, and they do provide a bit of the rotation, but they can't do it without the legs. You just cannot. So when we see too much weight being applied to these movements, you completely stuff it up because it moves too slowly. On the other end of it, when you make it really light and you move really slow, as we see in Pilates all the time, I don't know how many Pilates people cannot rotate to save themselves. They just completely ruined their timing, and they're really just using their arms. How are you going to have a weight transfer with your legs when you're sitting like this? You just can't do it. These exercises just completely ruin you. All right, so both cases completely ruin you. I probably prefer this one over that one because at least it has got some leg element to it, even though he's not doing it very well. At least he's got legs in it, where this is just really dysfunctional. So when you're doing those things, joints are likely to get beat up really quickly, and you're going to have a huge energy leak. All right, so what I mean by an energy leak, imagine throwing that ball, the baseball player, and I told him he was not able to move his legs. All right, that's a case of an energy leak. So now he's going to be forced to find the power from somewhere else that was not meant to do it. And this case will be the lumbar spine. He's going to force to twist his lumbar spine to make up for the fact that he didn't get it from his legs. This is where you see disc tears and disc bulges and all different types of facet joints, sprains, and just about anything you can think of with the back, because you're just going to be beating it up. The shoulder joint, because you're not rotating correctly through thoracic or your hips, now you're going to start forcing the scapula and the arm to try and find extra movement itself, when really it should have been, that really needed to be well stabilized and not moving excessively, because that's what the thoracic should have been doing. But because your timing's out, now you're forcing someone to find the extra lost energy. The last one is elbow. So, this is a classic case of where elbow pain comes from, the energy leak as such, because these are the last guys before you let the ball go or hit the golf ball or the tennis ball. And this is where you're trying to find the extra lost power that wasn't coming from your legs. And this just leads to an endless amount of trouble and pain once you get this is really hard to get rid of. And to be honest, people just treat this when really it was the legs and the poor movement to begin with that was the cause. All right, so what should you do? Well, whenever you're doing rotation exercises, do them standing up, unless its purpose is to find more mobility, which we do often do for a lot of the thoracic region especially. Make sure you learn how to use a weight shifting technique with your legs. Even for the sledgehammer, there is a degree of really getting a huge amount of energy coming from the legs. Without it, you just can't hit anything. Avoid using too much load, as it makes you slow. Make sure you move really fast. Best pieces of equipment are things that you can throw. So medicine balls, even battling ropes, you can throw them, and obviously sledgehammers. Basically, cable machines are great because you can make them light enough with enough resistance to move. So these are the ones that we use for beginners, and then progress into the more difficult stuff. But really, I really want to get to here as quick as I can because I know the timing's going to be right. I just might use this to encourage the weight shifting component and how to position well, but really the timing will come best here. All right, so let's have a quick look at some of these videos of how this might work, and I'll show you firstly the cable wood chop, a basic version of the weight shift, looking at pour form, and then also how it looks like when it's done fast, to give you an idea. All right, so let's have a quick look at this.
All right, guys, so here we have the demonstration of the wood chop exercise. So as you can see here on the right, this is the good one with perfect posture. Everything is upright, as you can see here. The legs are doing the weight shift as well, and the arms are straight as well. So as you can see here, the elbows completely straight. If you fast forward a little bit more, that weight shift is being used, so the hips are being used for strength, but over here on the left side, the body is being compensated instead of the hips. So everything here is tight, not moving, and the trunk is doing the swaying. So there'll be a lot of strain on one of the muscles in there in the hips, and it's also weaker as well compared to the right side. So the technique on the right, you'll be able to pull a lot more weight compared to the left side. And I hope that helps. See you in the next video.
Alright, here's a very tough exercise for a battling ropes exercise, and this one's the wood chop, using the ropes as the equipment. So quite often we use medicine balls, cable machines, even barbells at times. Alright, using the power ropes is extremely difficult. Is like to get 10 reps in a row and getting them quick is really hard. You're going to need to have quite a good grip on this as well. You can sort of see Nathan needs to hold the two ropes together, and then he's got to swing them right up high and then slam it down. So the rope makes that big whipping action. And you'll see how he has to make a big circular action, comes right up and then twist it, rotate it to the other side. So as he moves it, he's sort of got to swing it, see how his feet will jump and land on the other side and slam it down. Alright, so I'll play this in real time for you to give you an idea. Alright, so that gives you an example of just how explosive that exercise is and how tough it can be. Alright, but if you want to really develop that explosive power for sports, for example, great for football, this one. There's an awesome exercise to use. Again, don't do it for too long because you're going to make it slow, and it's not a slow movement. It really needs short repetitions of explosive tempo. Alright, so hope you enjoy that, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that, and that gave you an idea of like how rotation should be done. If you want more ideas, you can get stacks of them from our free report on our website, and there's also our little black book that gives you 100 different programs, and there's a whole chapter on core strength training that'll give you even more ideas. But I hope this video gives you an understanding of, like, sometimes even with beginners we have to make them move fast, because if they move slowly like we see all the time, you're actually making them move worse. Alright, so this is why the twisting and rotation pattern is probably the hardest to learn, because you have to, from the get-go, learn how to move quickly, and most people don't know how. Alright, so if you want more ideas, check out our YouTube channel and our website. We've got heaps of stuff on there, but until then, I'll see you next time.